On the outset, Ajay, marketing is very glamorous. Typical marketeer would be looking into demand creation, demand estimation. Marketing is a not just a very rewarding career, it's a very rich career in terms of the satisfaction that it can provide to you. Because in the corporate world, nothing comes easy. If sales is tough, then all other functions are equally tough. Basically, sales is the truth serum. That's my exposure to sales. Right? No marketing book can teach you what sales exposure can teach you. Best marketeers are those who have started their role in sales function. Strategy requires very strong fundamentals, and sales builds those fundamentals. Normal parlance, you call it dhanda. Samajhna aana chahiye. If you are risk averse, then you remain where you are. DNA and the genesis of this mid-career plateau starts from your actions and your thought process from a very young age, right? Your leadership style can actually make a lot of difference in enhancing or decreasing the productivity of an organization. AI is actually changing most of the elements of marketing, right? I think the biggest impact is on content. I don't trust either of the things.
My goodness.
I think certificates and portfolios and many of my industry peers and colleagues will tell you they are pass, because when you read Kotler and when you read certain books, you become theoretical after a certain period of time, and then marketing happens in the market, not in the office.
Hi job seekers, most people choose marketing without truly understanding it. It sounds creative, flexible, and even glamorous until a few years in, many people feel stuck, confused, or quietly disappointed. In marketing, early career mistakes compound fast, wrong first roles, no sales exposure, chasing titles instead of judgment, and suddenly 10 years pass without real leverage. In this episode, we are going to talk about who should actually choose marketing as a long-term career, why sales experience matters most than most marketers think, how marketing careers evolve over time, and what changes in the age of AI. To answer these questions, I have brought someone who has built brands, not just campaigns, someone who has shaped strategy, driven revenue, and evaluated talents across industries and markets. With nearly 3 decades of experience across some of the most iconic brands, he has seen what helps marketers rise and what makes them plateau. So without wasting a single second, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Let's hear it from Atul Raja. Atulji, welcome to Let's Hear It From.
Thank you, Ajay. It's a pleasure being here.
Sir, I come to the first question very quickly. The first question is very simple, cut and dry, straight to the point. Why should students intentionally choose marketing as a specialization rather than drifting into it because it sounds creative, flexible?
Right. On the outset, Ajay, marketing is very glamorous.
Okay, right.
So students can choose it actually for 2 reasons. One is they run on the outset it seems glamorous. Maybe the inside reality is a bit different. But why students should choose marketing? I think number one, if someone has a penchant for insight, right, to look at various elements in a slice and dice manner, if that kind of mindset is there, and then because a typical marketeer would be looking into demand creation, demand estimation, right? He would be looking at all kinds of strategies, whether it's a demand strategy, it's a channel strategy, it's a marketing overall strategy, it's a brand positioning strategy, it's a go-to-market strategy, right? There is no end to it. So if you have that strategic bent of mind, and if you have a penchant for doing these kind of things, I think marketing is a not just a very rewarding career, it's a very rich career in terms of the satisfaction that it can provide to you.
Amazing, amazing. Wish somebody could have told me this 25 years back. Sir, there is one more specific question added to this question only. I have seen many MBA marketing students who, unconsciously or consciously, they are avoiding sales role. So, from your point of view, what is that career limiting mistake, and how does sales exposure shape your own thinking, sir?
Right. So, why marketeers or why potential marketeers or students, youth of today, they are actually avoiding sales is a moot point. It can actually have different reasons for different students. But I can only hazard a very educated guess. And that guess is that sales is typically looked upon as a very target-oriented function, right? And hence there is this common notion and misconception that it is a very stress-oriented function. There is no family life, you'll have to answer to monthly targets and you'll be constantly on the move and things like that, right? But as I said, that's a misconception, right? Because in the corporate world, nothing comes easy. If sales is tough, then all other functions are equally tough, right? So if you ask me, basically, sales is the truth serum. That's my exposure to sales, right? It is what, it is baptism by fire. No marketing book can teach you what sales exposure can teach you. It can teach you things like what is objection handling, like why the customer is not buying your product. It can teach you channel economics, about the margins, about the credit system that prevails in the distribution system. It can most importantly teach you execution gaps, right? Which are the gaps and how to plug in those gaps in real time. That nobody is going to teach you, but your visits to the markets is going to teach you. So that's my impression of sales, and I would also tell all the young people that the best marketeers are those who have started their role in sales function, right? Who have understood the market, the product, the customer, and then they have come into strategy roles, because strategy requires very strong fundamentals and sales builds those fundamentals.
Correct, absolutely. Sir, my next question is again related to the same point. So, from your point of view, can someone become a credible marketing leader without having carried revenue responsibilities, revenue targets? So, where do you actually draw the line?
And so, the answer to your question is an emphatic no. So, you cannot. That's my take. And that's my experience as well, right? So as a marketing head in many organizations, I had absolutely quantitative KPIs, and the KPIs were loaded with revenue orientation, right? So I was as responsible for the revenues of the organization as the CEO and the sales head. Right. So you cannot do that, because you need to have a very strong business orientation to show some value to the organization. So if you are only focused on brand, advertising, communication, that means, you do not have the required knowledge and depth to hold a senior position, because you require also very good understanding of things like the profit and loss levers, right? The growth parameters of an organization's, the financial balance sheets, the business plans, right? So that's the reason why the answer is no.
Absolutely amazing. Sir, let's come to freshers. For freshers who are entering marketing specialization today, what should they optimize for in their first 5 years, brand names, learning velocity, or just concentrate on their roles?
So all three are important,
Okay.
but what I would say is that the learning velocity is, if I was to choose between the three, learning velocity is actually the most critical. Because as a young fresher, you have to have a learning curve when you enter an organization, right? The very first thing you need to develop is insights. There are three pillars marketing. One is market, the very market. Second is the customer, and and the third is the corporate entity as such. So, which includes the competitive landscape. So you need to develop insights into all the three things. Plus, as I said earlier, you need to develop insights into the business elements. In normal parlance, you call it dhanda samajhna aana chahiye. You need to understand. Otherwise, you are of no value to the organization. So you need to develop insights. You need to develop commercial thinking, right? As to what are those elements, sales of finance, that commercial acumen that you need to develop. So these are certain things that any fresher, for which learning velocity becomes very important. Then there is the normal craft of advertising, communications, brand strategy. All that continues parallelly. But along with that, you need these kind of learning curves.
Absolutely. So moving from freshers to mid-careers, it is always observed that mid-career marketeers often, plateau after 8 to 12 years of their work experience. So from your point of view, why does this happen and how can it be actually avoided?
So why does it happen? Implicit in that is basically the answer how it can be avoided actually, right? So what I have seen is that a lot of people, when they rise from junior to mid-level, and then after that they see a dead end. They see some of their peers moving ahead from there, but they know in their hearts that this is what it is. Either I change the company, I change the industry, do something else, otherwise I'll remain here, right? So they also in their heart know. And what is the reason for that? And this is a very important question and a very common phenomena. So basically, there reaches a stage where you are labeled as an expert implementer, as an expert executioner, right? So you become more of a doer than a thinker, more of a doer than a decision maker, right? That is the key requirement to take the leap from that plateau, right? Also, the second reason is that how risk averse you are, right? If you are risk averse, then you remain where you are.
Right.
But are you taking career risks? Are you looking at new roles, new responsibilities? Are you putting your hand up in meetings and saying, listen, let me do this, right? So I think these are the two reasons. And if you avoid these two reasons, you can actually rise very fast. And this is like we are talking about a mid-career plateau.
Right.
But you can say the DNA and the genesis of this mid-career plateau starts from your actions and your thought process from a very young age, right? You become like that, and then at mid-career you can't change. So better to start this thought process from the very beginning.
Absolutely. Sir, from mid-careers moving on to senior level professions, how does a marketeer's role fundamentally change, when a mid-career person shifts or, improves to a senior level position, from execution to decision making, and what skills become critical at that point?
Yeah, see, leadership skills is another topic. So basically, what managements look into is whether a person is good enough to be a leader. And when we
Right.
say a good enough to be a leader, it relates to a lot of soft and hard skills, right?
Right.
When it comes to hard skills, you know, the bottom line is that like all the pages of a newspaper, you should understand, you know,
Mm.
to be a good reader. Similarly,
Mm.
you need to understand all the functions of the
Right.
organization, and and hence understand where are the gaps and where things need to be rectified. So that is in soft skills for leadership.
Correct. Yes.
Obviously, no rocket science. So that is what is seen
Sales
when you
experience may
actually.
help here, sir.
But once you elevate, I mean, then what are the key things and what differentiates
Yes.
before elevation and after elevation? I think that mm, biggest thing is how do you take those strategic decision under
Mm.
conditions of ambiguity, right? Because before that, there is somebody or the else always with you, trying to reason with you that let's do this, let's not do this.
Mm.
But when you are at the top, you are actually very alone in taking those decisions, right?
Mhm.
The second thing is capital allocation. The third thing is I talked about soft skills, which is team building. Team management becomes absolutely essential. How do you have the right talent and how do you manage the right talent, right? And so that is a soft skill of leadership. Your leadership style can actually make a lot of difference in enhancing or decreasing the productivity of an organization. And the final difference that you take is your cross functional interaction really goes up at the senior level. uh,
Yes.
where you are actually on a day-to-day basis, on an hour-by-hour basis, or on a minute-on-minute basis, you are dealing with somebody or the other in some or the other function. That's a key difference. So I think this is what you have to deal with differently when you are elevated to a different level.
Absolutely. Coming back to the current age of AI, sir, please tell me which aspects of marketing will get commoditized and which human capabilities will become more valuable than ever.
Yeah, so this is a never-ending debate,
Yeah, right.
AI and what AI is going to do, and
Yes.
everybody seems to have his own opinion. But
Yes.
there is, as I said, it is never-ending, ever-evolving, and
Yes.
there is hard and fast answer to
As
this
right. Hmm.
actually. But my take on this is that AI in marketing, AI is actually changing most of the elements of marketing,
Right.
right? I think the biggest impact is on content.
Hmm.
Content creation and curation has mostly become machine led today, right? The
Right.
age of that creative copywriter
Hmm.
and is fast getting over. But then you see video generation, right? And then creativity as well. Today there are so many AI tools that are
Right.
generating creatives for you. In a minute, you get all the
Hmm.
creatives, right? And this is
Right.
not just still creatives; it's also video creatives, right? You
Hmm.
won't
Right.
come to know. Lot of e-commerce sites you see today where there are models, fashion models,
Right.
showing clothes and accessories. Uh, Customer doesn't know, but 90% of them today are AI driven. There is no shoot that is happening.
No shoot. Right.
Right? It is all system generated. So the answer is to the first part of your question is that many of the things are in marketing, especially that's what I would like to stick my neck out and say are getting impacted. Commoditized is a strong word, but are getting
Mm-hmm.
impacted by AI.
Mm-hmm.
And which are the things where I think the human element still will remain paramount? I think ethics and trust is one,
Wow.
because as far as AI is concerned, that is always been a point of contention. Then originality is too, right?
Yes.
You're doing a lot of things on the AI engine, but at a point of time, that fear is always there at the back of the mind, that somebody else somewhere in some part of the world may also be using the same thing, right? And I cannot call it as my original thing.
Right.
Customer empathy, how do you deal
Yes.
with customer empathy is another thing. And fourth and the final thing, I think, is cultural nuances, where the human insights remain invaluable. I think machines will take a long time to get there. So these are the four things, I think, where the human touch will remain invaluable.
Absolutely. Sir, coming back to hiring, sir, when you hire marketing talent, what signals do you trust more than resumes, certifications, or portfolios?
I don't trust either of the things.
My goodness, my goodness.
I think certificates and portfolios, and many of my industry peers and colleagues will tell you they are pass. Yes, they are important, but they are important as a succeeding factor, not as a very initial factor. Um, for me, more than that, the most important factor is the quality of conversation, right? So when you talk to people, you look at certain things. How is he framing a problem, right?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or is he coming out with some meaningful solutions, right? Those are the kind of things that you look at for a quality conversation. Can they explain trade-offs? Marketing is all about trade-offs. I know that. So, can they explain trade-offs in a way,
Okay.
right? So, these are some of the things that I look. And the second thing, and very important, that I look is what is the customer orientation of a person, right? Does this customer orientation come out directly or indirectly in conversations with him, as a natural habit, right? Which, if it comes out, is key thing. Third thing is humility and honesty, right? If you don't know anything, just stand up and say you don't know. And then you need to be very humble. And fourth and final, in some of the industries where I worked, and which very critical, is like how whether passion comes out of the interaction or not, right? Whether it's like another job for you, or whether you're passionate about it. So these are, I think, four things that I look into.
Right. Sir, I want to ask one out of the box question. Sir, if you were advising a 21-year-old aspiring marketeer and a 35-year-old experienced marketeer feeling stuck in their career right now, what different truths would you tell each of them?
Right. 21 year is broadly a fresher, right? So you would tell a fresher, I think the bottom line of your advice to a fresher would be that do everything with one goal in mind, that you should become useful to the organization. Whether you become useful to the boss, or whether you become useful to the system, or whatever. But the key word is useful. If you are useful, means you are for the long haul in that organization. Second thing I would tell a fresher is get close to the customer and get close to the market, right? Which I feel is very critical. Third thing I would tell him to spend time on strengthening the fundamentals, because this is the stage where you can raise your hand and you can say, listen, I don't know this thing. Can you tell me, how to do it? After you cross that initial stage, the human nature doesn't allow you to do that. Initially there should be no shame in asking, because you're not supposed to know, right? And so if you cross that stage without strengthening your fundamentals, then your learning by choice becomes inhibited, right?
Correct.
So this is what I would tell a young guy. And for a 35-year-old person, I think the bottom line would be, I would tell him, how do you transition from, you know, going from good to distinct? That should be the
Oh,
bottom line at that
wow,
stage,
amazing.
right?
Right. Absolutely.
Right. Upskilling and reskilling at that stage is very important. There are no specifics here because this would be very specific to a job profile, to an organization, but you need to constantly upskill and reskill. I do it all the time, even now, right? Because the
Mm,
world is changing so
mm,
fast. If you want to be relevant to an organization, you should be, upskilling and reskilling all the time. You have to also, I would tell a 35-year-old person that every quarter, something that I did when I was at that age, right? Every quarter, what is that one bold move that you will take, right? It could be that could make the organization sit and take notice of you. It could be your body of work. It could be a changed role. It could be enhanced responsibilities that you have taken. It could be anything. But what is that one thing that, that you want to take in a quarter? Akin to a fresher, I would tell them focus on that one activity or one particular element that you feel you can be at good at, right? Once you start feeling comfortable, then go to the second element. So these are the nuances
right.
between both. Yeah.
Such an insightful answer. Sir, I come to the last question of this particular episode. Early in your journey, what did you fundamentally misunderstand about marketing that experience later corrected?
It just doesn't relate to me. I think it relates to many of the young people in
Please.
my time. I think it relates to many of the young people even today, because I hire a lot of people and I see a lot of interns and freshers on a day-to-day basis. Uh, I think my misconception was very simple but very strong. For me, marketing was equal to advertising and communications, right? So, with that intent, because when you read Kotler and when you read certain books,
Right.
you become theoretical after a certain period of time, and then that's why the reason why to many young people marketing looks glamorous. You are coordinating, you're working with ad agencies, you're
Yes.
doing brand positioning, launching big brand campaigns. Marketing is not that, right?
Right.
Marketing is actually a strategic lever that basically navigates the course of an organization in the right direction. I've always felt that, right? It is like the KGB or the CIA for any organization, where it
Mhm.
provides you intelligence inputs, right? It provides you key data about the market, about the customer, about the product, right? So that the management can take informed decisions, right? So this is what marketing it was all about. Marketing is as outcome driven uh, as any other function in the
Correct.
organization. Marketing happens in the market, not in the office. So that is the
Correct.
reality versus the perception I had.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, all right, Atul ji, will end this particular episode, but with a quick rapid fire section. My favorite round, short answers, first instinct, and no overthinking. My first question goes to you right now: marketing degree or real world experience?
Real world experience,
Obviously, brand name on resume or depth of skill?
depth of skill,
Sales exposure optional or essential?
essential,
My creativity or commercial judgment? What matters more?
both,
Big company or startup for learning marketing fundamentals?
startup,
My goodness. Early success or early failure? What teaches more?
early failure,
Oh gosh. Personal brand or corporate brand? More important today.
personal brand.
My God. Last rapid fire question to you goes right away. One mistake marketers must stop making immediately.
This is a difficult one, but because the mistakes are many.
Yes.
Brand versus performance, I would say. Focus more on the performance, less on the brand.
Wow. So viewers, we come to this amazing end of this amazing episode of Let's Hear It from viewers. If this conversation has made you rethink about your career choices in marketing, then that's a good sign. If you have a question about your own career journey, if you're a student mid-career or a senior, please drop a comment in the comment section with a bit of a context. I will make sure I'll read them personally and will respond to all your queries as early as possible. This is Let's Hear It from, where careers are discussed as they really are. So viewers, bye for now. Please take care and see you soon in the next episode of Let's Hear It from. Wow, done.